Alrighty, got not just my first match of the World Cup, but I believe the first match of the World Cup. The pairings just came out, and Haka pretty much immediately messaged me and was like, "Can you play it right now?" And I said, "Yeah, sure." And so I think we'll be the first match in. Haka is representing Poland. I actually have no idea how many matches we're playing, how many games we're playing. Presumably we're playing one match. Jaunt says 16. Somehow I don't believe that. All right, I'll beat him 6 times. Sounds like a plan. Okay, what have we here? All we have is a default background. Let me fix that real fast. All right, here we go. So, peasant looks significant. There's the teacher line. Might want teacher here. Plus action looks otherwise difficult to come by. I mean, disciples in a village, piazza's potentially a village. Captain playing seller is a village, but not a very good one. So I think you probably want teacher, and you probably want the plus action token, maybe on Black Cat or Moat. Those are probably roughly equivalent, aren't they? I think about it. Because if you have a deck full of moats, then their deck full of black cats does about as much as a deck full of moats. Hmm. So we want to get teacher up and running. Haka seems to think that means Silo's peasant. It could be right about that. But are they right about that? The other natural option that jumps out to me is remake. If remake and peasant don't collide, you're really happy. Remake might be a little bit awkward. Yeah, I think I'm persuaded by Silos. The first two action cards in the peasant line are both terminal, and so that's a decent amount of terminal collision potential if you take remake peasant, especially if you take additional peasants, which I think is usually a good idea. So maybe about the time this peasant turns into a fugitive would be a good time to pick up a remake. This is not a bad hand, I think, unless my peasant is on the very bottom, in which case I'll be sad. You take seller here or take a second peasant. Either of those seems reasonable. I'll have to think about that myself momentarily because I'm very likely to hit 2 or 3. I think 50-50 shot of each. My ideal draw would be to bottom deck a copper, which I have a 1/3 chance of doing. Hit 2, I think 2 is sufficient for any important purposes. And I'd like to have a copper top deck for next turn for silos. Bottom decked in a state, that's fine. As long as the peasant is not on bottom. So Haka takes seller, that seems reasonable. I think I might copy that. Yeah. I mean, I want a second peasant, but I think with silos, it's really likely to collide with the soldier. So now, I think what I don't attack me, you jerk. Now what I want to do is buy a remake if I can. Yeah, I think we've got the same build in mind, basically. Because I'm not going to have a terminal in my deck anymore. Those bottom 4 cards have 2 coppers and 2 estates. There's no point playing the seller here. Drawing a copper is not good because I'd rather it be on top of silos, and drawing an estate means I miss 4. So I shall just take the remake and be a little bit sad that I top decked 2 estates. Well, They found their fugitive, which is good for them. Hopefully they did not find the remake. Well, hopefully I get to do the same thing, right? Come on. Okay, okay, we're good. We're good. We're fine. We're, I think, basically equivalent at this point. This first disciple play is probably going to be kind of awkward because there's no good targets for it. I don't need multiple copies of remake. Caravan Guard is an okay target, but it means the disciple gets stuck out of play because Caravan is a duration. I could buy one of these 2 costs here, but none of them is an amazing disciple target in itself. I'm probably going to do that anyway. Haka bought nothing. Why did Haka buy nothing? Because I attacked them. That's why they didn't have enough hand space to have 2 coins left over. I think probably just peasant. It's got to be right, right? I want more disciples. This seller has not been exceptionally useful thus far. Ooh, discipling the remake. You get a big trash in. I mean, not that you really want multiple remakes, but that's certainly not bad. The first remake can remake the second remake, and then you'll get any of the many nice 5 cost cards. Oh, you know what? I said something earlier that I now realize is egregiously inaccurate. I was saying Moat and Black Cat are more or less equivalent here because Moat would block the Black Cat. That's not true at all. It has now come to my attention that Black Cat is much better because of Soldier. Black Cat is an attack card, Moat is not. So if you play a stack of Black Cats, your soldiers are going to give you like 12 money, which is not equivalently true of Moat. So yeah, that's probably what we should be aiming for, is like a stack of Black Cats with soldier payload. Courtier is also not a bad payload card itself. That could be fine. So what do I do here? I really want to find, really want to find that disciple. One of these bottom 5 cards. There's a caravan guard down there. I've trashed no coppers, right? Caravan guard, 2 coppers, disciple, and an estate. So I don't want to pitch. Yeah, I don't want to pitch all 4, do I? I'm thinking maybe pitch remaking 2 coppers, and then ideally disciple is not on the bottom, and then I find it when I, even if it's second from the bottom, I'd find it playing caravan guard, and then I could play the caravan guard and disciple the peasant. Alternatively, I could pitch peasant and 2 coppers, and then I would disciple the remake, I think, similar to what Haka did. That's probably a little bit better, right? Thinning is winning, as they say. Okay, we don't play the caravan guard, not a big deal. You don't particularly want to disciple the caravan guard because it's a duration card and it will stay out of play, and then disciple would stay out of play with the duration card. Also, neither of those cards is particularly well drawn, to be honest. I think both disciple and caravan card have some less than appealing faces. Caravan guard, everything but the face looks totally fine to me. I'm not a fan of the visage. My guess is Haka's got a slight lead that is more or less equivalent to the lead that player 1 normally has. I feel like we've done basically the same thing and seemingly had pretty similar shuffles. They did get to trash 1 more card, I think, but I think I'm a little bit farther into my shuffle. Outpost will be important pretty dang soon once you're starting to get deck control. Playing 2 turns is better than playing 1 turn. Oh, wait. Haka 3, you are a bold one. Wait, what? Wait. Why didn't I get teacher? Do I have it on default keep? I'm confused. Did I mess something up there? What did I do wrong? I saw that there was only one teacher in the pile, and I thought Haka was skipping teacher. Maybe I just clicked keep instead of exchange? I don't know. I'll go back and look at the video. I did something dumb at the end of that last turn. That could have been bad. There's definitely kingdoms where you want to keep Disciple. I don't think this is one of them. Okay, so not playing the remake of the peasant this turn. Or the other remake. Okay, adding peasant makes sense. What do I buy? A little awkward. I've got a ton of caravan guards. And normally I would want to put a token on my most numerous action. But caravan guard's kind of awkward in that it's a duration card. And you only get the token effect the turn you play it, not the turn it's like staying in the turn after where it's remaining in play. And so you're only getting that token every other turn. So caravan guard's not really an ideal target for teacher token. I've already got 2 remakes I want to play. I've got a peasant I want to play. I really want actions, but putting plus action on caravan guard sounds really gross. Maybe that's what I'm doing anyway. I really don't want to do that. But if I don't do that, how am I playing on my terminals? I also don't know that. Hmm. Maybe I'll just put plus card on Caravan Guard for the moment or something. And then I can at least draw my deck. And then later put plus action on a card that I value more highly. I don't know. What's Haka gonna do? Haka's not played his teacher yet, actually, so I don't know what Haka's gonna do. Do Silos first. Alright, well, I've been avoiding this decision up until now, but I gotta figure out what the heck this token is gonna do. I want to play all my action cards, but plus action on Caravan Guard is so bad. But I think that's the thing that helps right now. So maybe that's just what I do. So if I put plus action on Caravan Guard, I play the Caravan Guard, I play the remake trash, remake copper, play peasant. I'm hitting 4. It's not a beautiful number. Maybe I do just take plus card and I don't play these remakes quite yet and hope to buy maybe a captain or something to help, or maybe buy Piazza perhaps to help resolve this terminal situation. I think I'm gonna go with the card on Caravan Guard plan. If nothing else, this is giving me a lot of money. So that bottom card is probably a copper. I didn't actually count or anything, but it's either a copper, maybe it's a Caravan Guard. It's something that I think is gonna end up with me having 1 money if I want it. So I could discard Peasant, play Remake, trash a copper and a Remake, and gain or buy Piazza, and gain Outpost. The alternative, I think, is discarding the remakes, playing the peasant, and then buying captain and maybe one of the 2 costs. I think I like the Piazza outpost line faster. Or I like it better because it gets me playing outposts faster. Also, Piazza with remake in the deck is a little bit of a threat. You're playing Russian roulette with yourself because you might randomly have to trash 2 cards from your hand at the start of your turn that you don't necessarily want to trash. I think that's not a huge issue, though, and is worth the risk. At the moment, I've got junk. Later on, I could get a captain and remake the remake so it's not in the deck anymore. But there's definitely a loaded gun sitting there. Oh, there we go. Okay, I like how this is going thus far. Those are 2 coppers on top, I believe. Yes, they are. So for sure playing Outpost and surely playing Teacher, and I think it makes sense to leave the coppers on top rather than cycle through them with Seller. Well, actually, do I need the money perhaps? Yeah, maybe I want to buy a captain, in which case I do want to draw one of those coppers. That's probably correct. But in general with silos, I think you want to leave the coppers top decked whenever possible. But I think I've managed to attain a little bit of a lead here. I could be wrong about that, but I think so. This is a turn where revealing remake could potentially be a little dicey. I think I should do Piazza first, because if I hit remake, I would rather trash copper than a good card. Oh, no, it's just copper. Okay, fine. Now I'm going to call teacher, and I think plus action on black cat for the black cat stack. That's already useful to me because it means I can play the captain as a laboratory. Seems best to me. Oh, Black Cat's also great with core. I was just really wrong when I said Black Cat and Moat are equivalent in this kingdom. Because on the top of the soldier synergy, Black Cat also does much better with courtier because Black Cat is a 3 type and Moat's only a 2 type. And I think this captain should just be Black Cat. Uh-oh, what have I done? Why would... Oh, he has Caravan Guards in his hand. That's why it's asking me. And he, for some reason, does not want to react them. Not sure what that is. Bottom card is a peasant. I think I'd rather play my peasant than my remake at this point. I've got a lot of draw. I don't need to trash these coppers so much as I want to get additional disciples. This could be a second captain. It could be a black cat and a courtier. I think the latter sounds better. I'll need plus buy once this peasant goes up the line. I could be peasant and courtier, actually. Do I have enough actions to play all that? I think just black cat for now. Make sure I draw. And I've got more terminals to play in this hand anyway, because my teacher and my outpost are both coming out of play. Who knows? Maybe Hawkeye will buy a victory card. Actually, that's not as helpful as it usually is. With plus action on Black Cat, normally the main benefit of reacting your Black Cat, for you at least, is you to play it non-terminally. But here it is equally non-terminal whether I play it on my turn or Hawkeye's. What did Hawkeye do? So Hawkeye also has plus card on Caravan Guard. Yeah, I think at some point in those last few turns, I've eked out a little bit of a lead. Maybe slightly better draws at some point. Not sure. But I think we were doing the same thing at the same times, and now I think I'm doing the same thing as him, but just a little bit faster. Okay, yeah, so he's also going to take the black cats, not surprising. I think this game will also be incredibly pile-y. You got the peasant line, which is really good at gaining stuff in various ways. Plus buy token, disciple for mid-turn gains, peasants plus buy. You got outpost, which means you're taking 2 whole turns at a time, which gives you a lot of total gains between one of your opponent's turns and their next. Don't attack me, you jerk. I think I should discard soldier. I don't think I have enough actions to play that soldier, do I? Pretty sure I don't. Actually, if my piazza hits, I think I can play the soldier. I'm still facing this remake roulette problem for the time being. So I should resolve captain first, big a hand as possible in case remake hits. Now we'll resolve piazza. Okay, that's insignificant. That's actually kind of helpful. The seller is, if nothing else, it's +1 action now. And so I can play that soldier if I want to. And I think I might as well discard the coppers. I'm about to do that with silos anyway. And this means if I draw additional coppers, I can discard them with real silos. And maybe get back to my soldier. Do I want to put a gold in this shuffle? I feel like the answer's got to be no. We're not at gold time yet. Okay, so 2/3 chance to find my soldier. So let's play the courtier before playing the black cat. Definitely plus action, plus buy, plus coin. I think that's clear enough. You can add golds pretty quickly later if needed. Soldier, thank you very much. And I think I got time to let this one go up to Disciple. At some point, for sure, in this kingdom, you're going to want to leave the soldiers at soldier, because soldier is going to be a very strong card once you get a bunch of black cats going. I also really want a bunch of like bona fide black cats in my deck. But for the time being, I think Captain is still the best card. Right? Yeah, I think Captain seems best. I guess I do Piazza first in case of. I guess I should do Teacher Token and then Piazza because I don't know what I'm putting my token on, but that could be relevant if I reveal that card. I got a bunch of captains and I've got a courtier, so those seem like the 2 relevant targets. Let's just do Piazza first. If the remake shows up, I'm probably trashing the courtier, in which case I probably want to put the token on captain. Black cat. Nope, that's a lovely card to reveal. Silos. And I think probably the plus buy token is more relevant to me, yeah, by a long shot than the plus. I'm gonna have tons of coins, and I'm gonna have a bunch of 2 costs I want to gain. So for sure, plus buy, and probably captain. I know it's duration, but I've got 3 of them to the 1 courtier at the moment, and so I think that's still gonna be more total plus buy, at least in the short term when I need it. Oh, Caravan Guard's also a great courtier target. And captain. Well, there's so many 3 types in this deck. And I think soldier as well. It's just like a deck full of 3 type cards. I didn't think about that. But wow, courtier is going to be having a field day. Okay, now I got all the captains. Let Just draw mini cards. Now I kind of want to remake things. So I could gain a gold, I could turn the seller into a silver, and I could draw both of those. Alright. That's probably the best play. So if I play remake, play courtier, play captain as black cat. Oh, that's actually a little awkward. Because I mean I do need to spend the courtier, one of the courtier choices on plus action in that case, because even though captain's non-terminal, I'll be playing it last in that order. That's fine. So we'll do action coins gold and live with 4 buys should be plenty. Seller, you served me well. Not particularly well, but did your best. I can play this as a moat, because I don't need the actions. Alright, now I got 14 money, which is a large number. So I should buy a large number of things. Some more black cats seems imperative. Be 2 black cats and 2 courtiers. Could be 2 black cats, 3 black cats and a captain maybe? I kind of like the 3 black cats and captain line, and then if I want additional courtiers, I can gain them off of discipling courtier. I also kind of want peasants. How do I get additional peasants? It's not a great way to mid-turn gain peasant, is there? So maybe this is like 2 black cats, a peasant, and a captain? Or maybe 2 peasants. Oh, black cat seems important. I think for sure I want all 3 of these cards. I got 4 left over. I think this is either a second peasant or a second black cat. I think I'm inclined to say second peasant, because I've got a ton of captains, which are going to do the black cat thing for me. And then this will give me 2 soldiers, and then I'm going to have lots of plus buy, and then I think things should go well. Got the remake in my starting hand, so I'm definitely not losing Russian roulette this turn. In fact, I could. I got a bunch of captains in play, right? Oh, the thing I likely might do is just play one of the captains as a remake and kill it. Oh, I have a captain index that I haven't played yet. Probably, I think, what I will end up doing is play that 4th captain as a remake, turn this remake into courtier or something. And actually, I might win this turn. I mean, it depends on what happens on Haka's turn. But like, if I have a good turn here, and I buy up a bunch of black cats or something, and then advance these 2 peasants into soldiers, I might have enough money the following turn to buy out estates. Or perhaps peasants, something like that. He might score here, in which case I'll have to rethink all of it, but I think there's a very realistic chance I win this turn. While I wait my turn, try this new high contrast feature. Contrast 500. Apparently this feature is not new, and just nobody ever knew that it existed until yesterday. Which cards look best in high contrast? Not Outpost for sure. I think Captain looks pretty good in high contrast. Aside from the art itself, I think that like the orange background looks good in high contrast environment. Moat I like a lot. Moat actually might be better in high contrast than the original. The water is much shinier. Caravan Guard, you're still ugly. I'm sorry. Oh, I like I like the Traveler line, though, generally speaking, much better in high contrast. These are some nice colors. Black Cat is hardly visible. Yeah, I think Moat and basically the entire Traveler line benefit a lot from this contrast thingy. Go back to play area. Oh, get out, abort. Okay, there we go. Let me return to normal. When you turn it on high contrast and then you turn it back off again, all the cards just look dull. Like I know this is what they originally looked like, but because I've been looking at them in high contrast, now they look bleh. Okay, is this your outpost turn, Haka? It is. This is that's dangerous. I don't know what you're doing, but you're really playing with fire there. Lower in these piles. So maybe it's black cats and captains, actually, now that I look at it. Could be an easy pile to pile out. Well, I've only got one disciple. Maybe captain's actually not that easy. Maybe it is just black cats estates. I don't know. We'll find out momentarily, but I I smell a pile out on the horizon. Especially after Haka has bought 3 black cats. Peasant here, I would think. I really don't think you want to lower black cats anymore. A peasant you take now will be a soldier by your outpost turn. You don't want to buy an estate. As it happens, I have no black cats in hand, but that estate could easily be worth negative victory points. Yeah. I mean, realistically, I think my play there would be like undo and buy a province or something. But tis what it is. Okay, I guess captains first, or at least a few of them. Find any additional coppers. You can actually you can get a stack of 5 soldiers here, and then if they drew with their caravan guards on the current turn, like Haka did, you could discard them all the way back down to 3. Obviously, that's not going to happen in this game, but okay. Piazza? Black cat, I'll take it. And I think this captain is also just going to be a black cat. Okay, so how does one pile out here? Bottom card's a captain, right? Yeah. I could disciple that captain, which is great. Lowers the captain pile. Captain's a great card to have. The downside is I won't have a disciple gain the following turn. Could disciple the black cat as a gain. Black cat's much easier to acquire. I could disciple the courtier, then remake the courtier up into a captain, put that in play. That might be an option. I just play the caravan guard right now. I'm pretty sure I should disciple something non-terminal because I want actions. I got a lot of stuff to play here. Let's see. Teacher, peasant, peasant, remake, outpost. That's 5. Courtier potentially 6 if I want to play it for plus buy gold and coin. Yeah, so maybe disciple the courtier, draw it with a black cat, remake it into captain, put that captain into play. Seems good enough to me. Action buy coins. Buy coins gold. Draw. Remake. Courtier. Into captain and turn the silver into remake. I think I'd rather just trash the copper probably. Or would I? Let's trash this over into remake, and then I can draw all this, and then maybe remake the remake with the captain into another 4-tier. Can't draw that, but 4-tier is probably still a good card to have in my deck. This feels like it should just be super duper winning. So I'm not gonna belabor the point too much. Oh, I don't have enough actions to play everything. Whatever. I probably should have thought about that. I want to buy 3 black cats, but not 4 because that would shut off my captains because the black cats would be empty, and then my captain couldn't play a black cat from an empty supply pile. I expect to resign from Hawkeye any second now. Like, you have to know I can't dud with multiple captains in play, right? Teacher, coin, 4-tier, I guess. Doesn't really matter. Haka? Haka, where you at? Don't let me click all this. This is actually probably in hand already, isn't it? I gotta be a little bit careful because he's got hella black cats. And so an estate would not be sufficient. I gotta buy like a province or something. But this should just be super trivially winning. Buy coins, cool. Okay, thank you, Haka. GG. Alright, that was their turn to go first. I presume we're alternating. I honestly don't even know the rules for this match. I think we alternate probably. What have we here? Trashing, junk dealer, Inventor for gains is the only gainer. Well, I mean, 230 gains goals, but that doesn't look at all good here. Inventor Highway looks significant. Inventor as exclusive gains is a little bit awkward for Mega Turning compared to Bridge, because like your first 4 Inventor plays can't gain provinces. But here, if you gain like 3 or 4 highways and you play those, then every Inventor playing your final turn can gain you provinces. So you probably want some number of highways as well. It seems like the goal is play a bunch of Inventors and a few highways, and take all the provinces at once. Draw could be Herald, City Quarter, Crossroads. I think Crossroads looks not very good here. There's no way to get a big starting hand. And I would rather just trash the estates with Junk Dealer and have no green on my deck until the final turn. So I think the goal is get like 2 Junk Dealers, get then a bunch of Heralds, Inventors, Highways, a few City Quarters. There's a little bit of awkwardness in that, right? Which is, I think I want City Quarters, but that costs money, and Inventor decks tend not to have money in them. So maybe I don't take too many City Quarters. Maybe it's mostly Heralds. I'm going to open Inventor Silver. Double Silver is probably marginally better at getting to Junk Dealer, but Inventor is a good card, and I want it. Starting on Herald already, or starting on second? I think Herald, for the time being. And is Crossroads better than nothing? I think the answer is yes. I can trash it later. It is, if nothing else, plus action. And also, if I draw it with 4 coppers, I would get arena points at least. I don't think arena matters much here at all, but technically something. Huh. Interesting dilemma here. I could play the Junk Dealer first, give me a 40% chance of finding a second estate, in which case my Crossroads could draw more. But that also means I'd have to not trash the estate, and I'd naturally rather trash the estate than the copper. Or would I? I've already got a Crossroads in my deck, so maybe I do want to trash coppers first here. Anyways. How am I behind? I thought I had pretty good shuffles, but I noticed that a certain someone seems to already have multiple heralds and multiple inventors and also multiple junk dealers. What did they manage to do? They opened the same way. They bought herald. They gained inventor and a junk dealer. Oh, they had a real nice turn 5 is what they had. Hopefully that means their turn 6 is gonna suck then. I think I'm gonna take it. Second herald versus second inventor is a tough choice. I think I'll take the second herald. I want to find these junk dealers quickly, and if I draw my deck, I can loop the inventors to gain a bunch of them all at once. Ooh, tricky, tricky, using the herald top deck effect. So this could be highway. I could farmland this estate into one of the 4s if I think adventure's better, and it actually might be. I could actually just buy city quarter outright. That's a lot of draw right there. If I buy city quarter, I'll still have 2 debt left, and then my next turn might be a little bit sad. I'm gonna do it. This is not the best configuration of these cards. That bottom 3 has 2 estates in it, doesn't it? So I should play this first. Yeah, this is about as bad as I think these cards could possibly be ordered, as far as causing my crossroads to not draw goes. I guess the 2 estates could both be on the very bottom, because I draw even fewer. And I think I do not buy a second city quarter now, or do I? I mean, I'll be in debt for a bit, but I'm very likely to draw my deck and be able to do good things. Kind of like that. I think it's worth it. I think I'm a little bit behind here. He's got a whole bunch of heralds. It might depend on whether his heralds collide. They're a little bit haphazard until you're fully thin. Piles will be a thing, I suppose. Herald Inventors are surely going to run. I'm not immediately sure what the third pile would be. City Quarter. At least we seem to agree on the city quarter idea. I wasn't totally sure about that. Junk dealer first, I think. If it drew an estate, I'd rather have the estate in hand already before hitting crossroads. Nice, nice. So I think I play the crossroads right now. I mean, I don't have the third estate in hand quite yet, but I can gain 2 things, and that'll guarantee this herald hits. So let's go inventor, inventor. I'm actually considering Soothsayer here. That can't be right, can it? I don't want to draw him a card at all. I don't care about cursing him, but so I got a gold, I'd get out of debt, right? Because I got 6 here. Or maybe I could just get a bazaar. A bazaar is enough to get me out of debt, actually. So I think I'm gonna gain a bazaar. I don't need 3 coins. 1 coin will suffice. So if I just gain the bazaar here, 5, 6, 7. I trash an estate with junk dealer is fine. That'll get me to 8. And then I can buy one of these cards for like 0 money. Bazaar. And this should probably just be taking as many adventures as I can, right? I think that number is 3 of these. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 inventors. Haka has 2. If I take 3 more, I'm at risk of not drawing if I take 2 more. But then he's capped at 4 gains. Dilemmas. And there's a real risk where if I take these adventures and then I draw a dud hand, he piles that over 2 turns maybe. Although with 4 gains, he can't even do that, can he? Well, he might be able to on Heralds and Junk Dealers, I suppose. He played to a full dud. I think I'm going to do it. I've definitely won games before because of an opponent's overly aggressively pushing bridge or bridge variants to the exclusion of deck control. And that has given me some doubts in the back of my mind whether I should be doing the same thing. But it feels so right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I could just buy a Herald here and decide that winning the Avenger split 6-4 is plenty. Is that the responsible thing to do? I did find 2 city quarters on the top this past turn. If fine, my conscience is bugging me. It won't let me take the last Inventor, or the penultimate Inventor, I guess. That's good. That's not Heralds. I don't like Heralds. But looks like I was win anyway. GG. What have we here? No plus buy. Duplicate is the only real gainer. Hideout can gain you curses. Treasure map can gain you more expensive curses. Tomb looks intriguing. You'd score a lot with goat herds and sacrifices. Goat herd's probably going to be a good card, ain't it? Wait, I made this mistake. I made this mistake in my match versus Mick this season. There was a kingdom with goat herd and sacrifice on it, and I bought sacrifice turn 1, and I'm pretty sure it cost me the game because Mick just opened double goat herd, and then turns out when your opponent opens with 2 trashers and you open 2 trashers, but yours are goat herds, that's better. So maybe I should do that. I mean, there's 8 other cards in this kingdom, 2 landscapes that are also different, but none of them seem relevantly different. So I think maybe double goat herd is the play here. All right, Mixinock, I believe in you. Did this, so I'm going to do it. What did he take turn 2? Oh, did he have the 5-2? He must have the 5-2. There's no reason you'd buy Pearl Diver otherwise. I don't know if there's no 5s you would buy. I'm not even sure Harvest is better than nothing. Like, if you could just take a free Harvest turn 1, I think you should decline it. Okay, I've got 4 money. I think duplicate now, and then maybe a silver, and then eventually some hirelings. And then maybe you do take a pair of treasure maps. That's an easy way to add a bunch of payload real fast. Like with a duplicate, you can pick them both up on the same turn, and then you pop them, and then you're happy. Why aren't you trashing anything? I want to draw cards. Wait a second. Wait 1 second. I gotta shuffle his deck. They didn't. He's got a goat herd down there. Might it behoove me to just not trash a copper so that he doesn't draw? I don't particularly need additional pearl divers in my deck. Well, I also don't need silver that much either, to be honest. Silver's still probably better for getting to 6 for hireling, right? Sure, Haka, you don't get to draw this turn. Oh, if I might have done that for nothing, because I don't see Haka. Maybe this is his goat herd, and this last card in his hand, but perhaps he bottom decked his goat herd, and I just declined to trash a copper for inadequate reason. I'll take a third goat herd. I expect Haka to trash cards. A fourth goat herd? Ooh. Maybe those bottom two cards were his goat herd and his sacrifice, and maybe he's about to trash a bunch of things. Maybe I just want a billion goat herds. I'm gonna do it. Let's just all the goat herds. Trash so many cards, please. I want a deck full of laboratories. How many coppers have I trashed? None? I've trashed 0 coppers. Okay. So if I find all 4 goat herds, I will draw my deck, because that's 8 draw there plus 1 from the Pearl Diver. And I could trash 3 coppers and still hit 6. I think that works out. So one of these goat herds will have to not trash if I am to acquire hirelings. Or I could simply be able to find the last 2 goat herds. That's fine too. Now what do I buy? I was immediately thinking hideout. Like I'll have these turns where I've got hireling and duplicate or double hirelings. I don't need villages for that. And hideout is a village, and it trashes things. Could also be walled village. I could do the trashing with goat herd, and that leaves me with a more flexible deck that doesn't require trashing. Could do the treasure maps immediately. I think I like the idea of taking 2 villages. Listen, Haka, I need you to trash more cards, okay? My deck is full of goat herds. This is not acceptable of you. Do I want the duplicate on top? I'm going to say no, I don't. I want to find those goat herds in case he trashes. And more pull diver. You have. I know he's got cards in his deck that trash things. I need him to use them. Like, look, Tomb, it gives you victory points. Don't you want victory points? Acquire victory points. Okay, so if I trash more coppers here, I'm getting awfully thin and low on payload. I've trashed 4 coppers. I have 3 coppers remaining in my deck. Is this all the payload in my entire deck? Well, aside from the silver. I can see every treasure in my deck right now, can't I? So if I trashed 2 coppers, I would have 3 money in my deck. Perhaps I ought not do that. Maybe I trash a goat herd? It's worth a point. Maybe I just don't play either goat herd and buy a silver. I'll take the point. I'm pretty sure what I want to do is to duplicate a hireling, duplicate a treasure map, and then start greening. I was hoping that would happen a turn or 2 sooner than it in fact has. This looks like it'll be a good card, not a good card, a good turn for it though. He's trashed 2, so my goat herd shall draw many a card. I have 7 money in my deck. So if I want to acquire the hirelings this turn, I should only trash 1 copper. Buying a goat herd. See, Haka is what we call a trend follower. Actually, I'm not really the trend setter in this analogy either, am I? I'm just copying what Mick did to me. Sure, I'll top deck the village. I don't think it really makes a difference. I have to let my Pearl Diver see an additional card. 6 money, 2 hirelings now, 2 treasure maps next, then greening time. I mean, I guess you could consider. There's probably not enough deck control for it, but rather than going straight for provinces, you could take a big stack of duplicates and try to take the duchies. I don't think that's worth attempting. Third hireling, I don't know if I believe in you on that one. It is important to me that I be able to find my duplicate this turn. You trash things. You did trash a thing. Okay. I'm gonna say don't trash. If I draw a duplicate here, I'd be very sad if I had trashed a copper and couldn't afford treasure map. And I think I should leave that hireling on bottom. I could play that next turn if I need to. I want to find my duplicate. Please be next. Thank you. Treasure map. I don't really know what I'm buying this turn. Probably nothing much. I don't think I'm going to be able to draw into the golds and hit 8, unless he trashes a bunch, which I don't think he's going to do. Maybe he has a sacrifice in hand. No, just bought a duplicate. Okay. Silver sounds like not an appealing card right now. I want to find the other treasure map if I can. And I can. Okay. Lay that on bottom. This Goatherd will draw 1 card. So I could play the Goatherd first, draw a random card. That probably only benefits me if the next 2 are like Walled Village followed by Duplicate. Because I need another village to be able to play the Duplicate. So probably what I should do is play the treasure maps first, then the Goatherd, then the Hireling, and then I'm hitting 5. Not exactly sure what I'm doing with 5, but hitting 5. These 2 victory point treasure maps. What a powerful card. Maybe this is just another duplicate. Haka seems to think having 2 duplicates is a good idea. Could he be right about this? Perhaps. Could also be duchy already. Like, I'm ready to green. I guess duplicate is like buying a duchy, because that's probably what it's going to end up getting used on. I feel ahead here, I think. I was kind of worried that he was going to get to provincing a turn sooner than I am. But I think he's not. I think 2 hirelings down, 4 golds in deck should be enough to green pretty often here. I'll probably end up just liquidating most of the rest of this stuff over the next few turns with Goatherds for bonus points. Like, I don't really need the Walled Villages or the Pearl Divers at all anymore. So if I can trash them with Goatherd, I probably will. Also trashing some of the surplus Goatherds themselves, because they're probably going to shut off pretty soon. Okay, okay, okay. I'll have to do some contemplating about that momentarily. to draw through our deck first. You know what? Screw you, village. You're gonna die first. Are these both pearl divers? Maybe I should leave them there. They are in fact pearl divers. So Haka's going for some big duplicate. I feel like this is a play born of desperation. Like Haka just looked at the kingdom and said, "I'm behind. If I follow in on provinces, I'm just gonna lose slowly." I feel like this play is probably not enough to succeed, right? But I should think about it anyway. So he duplicates a ton of duchies and then just starts sacrificing them. That's a decent amount of points, actually. Should I be respectful of that? Hmm. Well, I guess the problem is, like, what would I do about it? It's basically, I think, either buy province or take 3 duplicates here and try to do the same thing. But if I take 3 duplicates, well, the duchy pile and the estate pile are actually pretty similar in this regard because, like, if you end up sacrificing the green cards anyways, that's going to be 3 victory points either way. With 2 plus sacrifice. So, I don't know, like, provinces are still at 8. Maybe Haka builds a deck that can just eat through all the duchies and estates and score points that way. The downside to that deck is going to be he's only got 1 sacrifice. Once, like, maybe I don't take these bonus points off these goat herds. I mean, I already kind of did, so a little late to think about that now. But for future turns, maybe I should stop playing the goat herds at all, even to trash, so that he can't draw. And then his deck gets clogged with green too fast while I province away. One thing that makes it a little bit harder for me to follow in on this, I think, is I don't even have a singular sacrifice. And I feel like if you want to be gaining duchies or estates and then killing them again, you want to do that with sacrifice here. Do I believe in this duplicate thing? Maybe. That's just a lot of points, isn't it? The problem, I think, is if I do think that this strategy is better, which I think I said earlier it wasn't, then I really shouldn't have taken the treasure maps in the first place because I don't need a bunch of money to do the sacrifice duchy thing. I just need deck reliability. But I already got the treasure maps, I already got the golds. And like maybe this could just be a case of sunk cost fallacy. Maybe I should just go ahead and go for the duchy stuff anyway. Hmm. What if I just take all the duchies and then province? I don't know. Just do I think Haka could like I think I could do 8 provinces. Do I think Haka scores more than 6 points per turn for these next 8 turns? Maybe. I'm gonna keep it simple. I don't even know. I think what I should do here is just stop playing goat herds to whatever degree possible to make it hard for him to draw. Because like if his deck comes together and does everything it can, I think he can outscore me. My hope is he's only gonna have draw off those 3 hirelings, and then hopefully that deck falls apart too fast. And you know what? Now that I've committed to buying province, I'm already second guessing my choice. Now I'm thinking maybe the choice wasn't between duplicates and provinces. What if I just took 3 duchies immediately, and then I take 3 duchies the next turn, and I'm taking a majority of the duchies, then I could add the sacrifices. No, I don't know. I'm highly indecisive. I don't know what the best call was in that position. But the problem with I think I had actually already thought about this line that I'm now returning to. Just like take the duchies immediately. I think the problem with that line is the existence of sacrifice plus estates means that taking a majority of the duchy pile doesn't necessarily shut down what Haka's doing, because he scores just as many points taking the estates and then sacrificing them. I don't know. That province might have been a bad idea. Or if the province was a bad idea, that probably means the real bad decision was the treasure maps. Maybe I shouldn't have even been building a province in the first place. Maybe I should have just been building to this duplicate sacrifice thing all along. We'll find out. At the very least, my turns, I think, are going to be pretty simple from here on out. I just click province each time, and we'll see if Haka can beat that. What's the score right now? I think it's 2-0. It's good. We can afford to let Haka get one win, maybe. We don't want him to get too dispirited. If I lose, that's why. It's definitely an intentional choice. I think I know where this joke is going. Yeah. That actually suddenly makes me feel a little bit better. So, he added a bunch of treasures, which A means his deck's not going to be working great, but B either means he's going for provinces but slower than me, or means he's going for the duplicate thing, but his deck is just like really not functioning. Leave that gold on the bottom. And I think, yeah, I'm just never trashing any goat herds at all, right? Any actions by province. I expect him to, like, basically the consideration is I think silver, pearl diver, gold are all better than nothing for my deck. And I think the one victory point I gain off of trashing them is not worth the giving Haka the draw. The one card I would consider trashing is Goat Herd, specifically because of hands like this is like my best chance of not hitting province. But I think Haka is going to, on average, trash one or more card on each of these turns for here on out. Like, yeah, so he's already trashed two. And so I think even the Goat Herds are not worth trashing because they're probably going to be net draw here. Okay, so do I even need? I don't honestly. I forgot about the hirelings. I got so much draw. I don't even need the Goat Herds. These cards on top are two pearl divers, two golds, a silver, and something else. I don't know what the something else is. A walled village. It's a walled village. Yeah, that sounds like a fine hand. Let's leave that there. Province. I don't know. I kind of pull him for Haka, to be honest. He's definitely building the more ambitious deck and the one that's a little bit more fun. Uh, my job is just to click province once per turn, and we'll see if Haka can succeed in the end. But I think I'm very much the villain in this scenario, the antagonist at least. And that bottom card is a Pearl Diver, which I have no real reason to draw, so I should just leave that there and buy province. No, and I'm gonna draw it. I keep forgetting I have hirelings. I got much more draw than I need. So that Pearl Diver is gonna be drawn, whether it wants to be or not. I I don't know if his deck's gonna come together in time. He's got what, 5 more turns? It could. It definitely could. So now I would like to draw as many of my provinces as I can. I've already got 8 here. So now my goal is just make the next turn hit 8. all this micromanaging is really unlikely to be relevant in any case because I got 2 hirelings and 4 golds, and my deck's just going to hit 8 no matter what I do, even if I don't pay close attention to the shuffles, I think. I think as Haka, you take estates first here. Because like I think you're gonna want some number of estates and duchies, but you're also gonna want to sacrifice some of them. And the estates are the ones you'd rather have sacrificed, of course. You're probably not gonna be able to sacrifice all of them before the game ends. So better to take the estates now and then take the duchies in later turns when you're unlikely to be able to get around to killing them. If sacrificing duchies net scores you 0 points, whereas sacrificing a state scores you 2. I also have these 2 duplicates that I should not forget about, and Haka should not forget about. If he lowers piles a little bit too aggressively, then a pile out could open up. I think he should be fine though, in that regard, as long as he's cognizant of it. If Walled Village were empty, like if he had taken 1 more Walled Village than he has, then I think I'd be looking very seriously piling out. Like I could take 3 duplicates this turn and then potentially take 4 goat herds next turn, and expect him not to be able to score enough in the interim. With Walled Village, that's a 3-turn endeavor. I'd have to pass up scoring for 3 turns to pile out, and I think that just ends up not being worth it. Okay, well, do I want to draw here? I don't even know. We'll draw. We'll see what we got. Walled Village, sure. Let's draw that. Province, yeah, there we go. Draw a province. That means the bottom cards are a gold, and I actually don't know what else. 1 more province, right? Let's see, 14, 30, 24. Yeah, there's a province down there, a gold down there, and some action card or other. I don't even know what it is. Yeah, who cares? Let's just buy province. Do I have 3 goat herds in my deck? Maybe it's a goat herd. I think it's a goat herd. Also, these goat herds are going to draw an obscene number of cards because Haka's deck is heavily reliant on sacrificing. That's not even, like, honestly, particularly important at all because my deck's going to hit 8 whether I draw it or not. So Haka doesn't need to worry too much about powering up my goat herds because my deck doesn't do anything as a result of being drawn. But it also means the chances I miss 8 are basically 0, I think. Like, my starting hand would just have to be, like, all provinces or something to dud. So at the end of all this, I will have 44 plus 18, 62 points. Can Haka get past 62 points in 3 turns? That sounds tough to do, doesn't it? Not impossible. Not at all impossible. But it sounds tough, given the quality of his deck at the moment. We got 8. Now the goal is to draw as many provinces as we can. Top deck that. I've seen 4 of my provinces. Those bottom 5 have 2 golds and a silver, so if I just leave it at this, I'm guaranteed province next turn. It's kind of nice having exactly 16 money in my deck, because it means if I manage to draw exactly 8, I can just leave the other 8 for the next turn. somewhere. Will it be enough? 4 duplicates down. Could be a photo finish. The fact that he's only got 4 money in his deck does seem to pose a bit of a problem. Like, he can take the estates here and he can sacrifice a bunch of those estates, but then how is he getting to 5 next turn to take duchies? If he had like 1 more copper in his deck, I'd be a lot more worried. Because then if he takes estates now, duchies next turn, maybe that's getting up to 62. Treasure maps. Never too late. That's not an unreasonable way to add payload, to be honest. They score 2 points on themselves, and they give you a bunch of treasures. You don't need that many, but then his deck is going to want to sacrifice those treasures anyway for the extra points. I want to play these goat herds just to see how much they draw, because it's going to be fun. I shouldn't do that. I should leave 1 goat herd on the bottom, because goat herd is an OP card. At least in this game it is. Woo! There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Yeah, look, I got 8 money in the bottom 4, 8 plus a goat herd. I'm going to hit 8 next turn. I also did that math wrong, didn't I? I said I needed to beat 62, but if I had the full 62, well, I actually yes and no. He could he either needs to beat 62 points or he needs to beat 56 points and pile out. So whether or not 62 or 56 is the threshold, I guess depends on whether he can 3 pile. And I'm pretty sure the answer is no, he cannot. Okay. Alas, it's kind of looking like injustice will prevail this game. I was really pulling for this duplicate thing by the end, but it was not meant to be. I want to draw with the goat herd. Drawing with these goat herds is so fun. Whee! All right, I'll buy the province now. GG. All right, I have to. I don't like being the host. I never remember to do all this stuff. Okay, so that's 3-0 for me, I believe. Good, looking good. This is a. Yeah, I don't like this kingdom. I like this kingdom one bit. I think this is just rebuild. So you got Grave Robber and you got Mission. Those 2 things synergize pretty well. You could be playing 2 turns at a time, getting lots of stuff. There's alt VP. There's a lot of points to be had doing other more interesting things. But the Vineyards thing is kind of limited by plus buy. Like, if you're playing with Vineyards, you're not playing with Mission, because the only way to acquire a vineyard is to buy it or to rebuild a vineyard into a vineyard, which doesn't really count. So you can't really use vineyards as scoring and also take advantage of Mission, which would be the biggest asset for the engine here. And if you use Grave Robber, then you're either going for provinces, and that I don't think that deck's fast enough, or you're going for Fairgrounds, maybe. Fairgrounds, Grave Robber could be a thing. I think there's just not quite enough to want to build here. There's no trashing, and your actions and draw are both herald, which is going to be really sad if you don't trash. Yeah, this is gonna be rebuild. This is rebuild. We're just gonna rebuild the provinces, and that's all we're gonna do. In the end. So I think the opening is probably Faithful Hound Silver. That's really likely to hit 5. You're not gonna hit double 5 ever, but you get a rebuild, and that's sufficient. Faithful Hound has some minor synergy with rebuild as well, because the rebuild might top deck it sometimes. That'd be cute. Like Faithful Hound Silver, turn 3, turn 4, maybe like rebuild Silver. Is rebuild tunnel a thing? Maybe. You rebuild your first estate into a tunnel and try to flip that once or twice for golds. That takes one more turn to get up to provinces, but then you got golds and maybe you're buying province. Straight rebuild just sounds too. We'll try the tunnel thing. We'll try to play rebuild with a tunnel, uh, just to give this kingdom some semblance of life. Okay, so this is the non-rebuild turn. I got 5 money down there in the bottom. Uh, definitely should not be mission. That would be bad. So what do I buy? Silver, second silver probably. Could be a second faithful hound. Silver's probably better, right? How come I went double silver? Curious. Very curious. I mean, double silver gives you a shot at double fives, but was not meant to be. I don't believe in buying the tunnels. I want to acquire the tunnels via the rebuilds. Do I play this faithful hound? Down there is an estate, 5 coppers, 2 silvers, a tunnel, and a rebuild. I mean, it likely gets me to a better price point, which is nice. I don't necessarily want a bunch of faithful hounds, but it also means one of my rebuilds misses the shuffle. I think I'd rather just. Actually, I don't know. I think I'm gonna do it. I think there's a decent chance it gets me to 4, and if it gets me to 4, I can buy a mission, and then that's an extra rebuild play, and that all sounds good. I even get to flip the tunnel. Oh, look at this! Oh boy, and a faithful hound. Oh, this is my lucky day. The only thing that could be better is if this estate were a silver, and then I could buy commerce and gain 2 golds off of the commerce. That would be fun. So did I just leave this tunnel at tunnel to do more tunneling? Do I turn it into Dutch? I think I'd leave it at tunnel, right? Like if I wanted Dutchy more than tunnel, I should just gain Dutchy the first time. Okay, well this tunnel's doing nothing this turn. Whatever. 5 poses a more interesting decision because, well, actually, I should also think about this. I was gonna say that my buy here is less clear because mission's great, but buying another rebuild is also great. Oh, rogue is also going to be significant, isn't it? If you trash tunnels or duchies, rogue is going to be able to rogue is going to be an important card as well. That's just like 3 points to be gained. Okay, well, at least there's something interesting going in this kingdom beyond just clicking rebuild. So I think I'm gonna buy a third rebuild. I think that's more valuable than missioning. Yeah, especially because like there's no guarantee I even find my rebuild on the mission turn. There's a decent chance it could bottom deck. But this should just be another tunnel, right? I think I'm kind of committed to the tunnel idea at this point. Sad draw. Take a third rebuild. That extra tunnel might have been a mistake. Now that I think about it, uh, my thinking is, I I don't know. I'm going back and forth on the extent to which this should just be playing rebuilds versus trying to buy provinces. But the existence of mission points in the direction of rather than buy provinces, you want to buy mission and play rebuild more often. And if that's the case, I probably don't want too many tunnels in my deck. I just want to get to provinces faster. Like, more gold isn't helping me if my buys are just mission every time. And it's actively hurting me a little bit because it makes me less likely to find those rebuilds that I do have. This is not going to flip any tunnels. But I can click tunnel. Just oh, is it? Do I have 3 tunnels in my deck? Okay, I've got too many tunnels. I didn't even know that I have a 3rd tunnel. This has got to be a mistake on my part. Oh well. Guess we'll take the golds. And we're buying provinces after all. My opinions on my play here are rather mixed. I think I'm not even sure if any of the tunnels were correct, but I'm increasingly thinking if tunnel was correct, I should have just left it at 1 tunnel. Like just enough golds to make sure I'm hitting 4, and then missioning more heavily, and then doing something more directly rebuilding and a little bit less by province via Goldie. I think that's more like what Haka's doing here. He has fewer rebuilds though. Like if you're buying mission aggressively, you definitely want more rebuilds. And I'm the one with 3 rebuilds, right? Yeah. Yeah, Haka needs to get a 3rd rebuild at some point. Now we're just gonna buy provinces. Okay. Now from here on out, name province. I'm perfectly happy trashing tunnels. I think Fairgrounds is worth more than Duchy. I mean, they're probably going to end up being provinces either way, but might as well have more points in the interim. I've got how many cards? I got copper, silver, gold. That's 3. Provinces 4. Rogue is 5. Faithful Hunt is 6. Rebuild is 7. Fairgrounds is 8. It is unclear to me whether province will, or whether Fairgrounds will be worth more than Duchy at the end of the game. Like I have Tunnel at the moment, but those are likely all going to die. I think I'll stick with Duchy. It seems like the safest play. And these bottom 3 cards appear not to have either of my rebuilds or my rogue in them, so I probably shouldn't buy mission here, should I? Let's buy a 4th rebuild. It is unclear to me whether I should play this Faithful Hound or not. I think the basic question is, are these cards in my hand better or worse than average? Do I want to accelerate my draw through this shuffle a little bit faster to get back around to them? Well, these cards in hand plus the province that I would buy, I think the answer is I would rather not get back to them because none of them is rebuild or rogue, and those cards all seem pretty important to me. Seeing this hand, if I knew this hand were next, I definitely would play the Faithful Hound, but hindsight is 2020. Mission here, I think, is better than not. These 13 cards are pretty chock full of rebuild and roguey goodness. This is going to flip a bunch of rebuilds, I know it. Goodbye, rebuilds. That makes me sad. This is a gross. Rebuild is a very shuffle dependent card, and this is an incredibly gross shuffle. These next 10 or next 11 cards are all crap. They're not good. And there is nothing I can do about it. Alright, do I just lose here? Does he have 8? He does not have 8. Which makes me doubly sad about having a total dud turn here. How do I win? The problem is I've got 2 dud hands in a row. The rebuild flipping rebuilds is just really bad. Like if I buy nothing, like I buy mission just to clear off this next turn, then I've got a chance of having a decent turn the following turn. Then I have to score a huge amount of points to come back. I could buy Duchy this turn. Maybe there's 8 money down here. I'm not even gonna bother counting it. I'm just gonna. I think I'm gonna just click Duchy, or maybe Fairgrounds is 1 more point. I've got a Duchy and a ton on my deck, so I think Fairgrounds is gonna be worth 4 points. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean that shuffle there at the end was incredibly sad, but I think I also misplayed this at parts, so it's not exactly just a result of that. Shoot. I attempted to click the up down arrow. I don't know if I succeeded. Haka was player 2, so he should be player 1. Okay, so I guess it did work. GG. What have we here? So, some nasty attacks. You can only single province here. There's nobody get more than 1 province, but you do have gains in the form of upgrade. You could upgrade horses off of Hostelry or silvers off of Bureaucrat. So you can gain multiples of various things. So, kind of want to hit 5, because Sentry and Upgrade look amazing. But also there's Ambassador, which I think you probably can't pass up on, but also is terrible at hitting 5. So the opening could be Ambassador Ghost Town. That's not super likely to get you to 5, but you're guaranteed to find the Ambassador. You're probably going to hit 3-4 on the following 2 turns. And then maybe you do second Ambassador, second Ghost Town. Just be Ambassador Silver. That's pretty okay, right? That could get you to 5, and if the Ambassador lines up with the Silver, you can at least buy a Ghost Town on that turn. I think I like Ambassador Silver. Yeah. There we go. We hit 5. All thanks to that Silver buy. Yeah, Sentry seems correct to me. Oh no! Disaster has struck. This is really bad. Uh-oh. Where's my Ambassador at? Do I buy a second one now? If I buy a second one, they collide. I'm gonna be morose. I don't like this. Fine, I'll buy a second Ambassador. Oy. Did Haka's? No, Haka's Ambassador didn't miss. Is my other Ambassador also gonna miss the shuffle? Please say no. The answer is no. Wait, the answer is yes. I wanted it to be no, but it's yes. Okay, well. I was excited for a brief moment there when I hit 5 turn 3, but this is not going so hot in really any other regard at all. I wonder if Alchemist is worth getting. It's not a bad thing to spend your 1 buy one, and then once you're done buying Alchemist, like I don't think you need to keep the potion around forever. You could upgrade the potion into a $5 card if you want to, and that'd be fine. I could see getting Alchemist here at some point. Not an early game priority. And realistically, I think what is most likely to occur is this game is going to be decided by these early draws, and it won't matter too much what you do afterwards. I want to get to 5 here as soon as I can. I'm reaching about the point of the game where you want to add additional gains, and upgrade is basically the main gainer here. At some point, the ambassadors might run their course, and you maybe just get rid of them. Like with Sentry and Upgrade, you've got enough additional trashing that if they keep the ambassadors around just to attack you with, you could probably deal with that junk. At the very least, I don't think I'm going to have 2 ambassadors over the long term. The second one will eventually get turned into Herald or Bureaucrat or something. I do think I want Alchemists here at some point. I mean, we're already on turn 9. I don't think it's happening for at least another few turns, but I I think you eventually want Alchemist. Just otherwise, what's the draw? The only other draw is Herald, and that's just going to become increasingly unreliable as the game goes on. You're adding provinces and duchies and whatnot to your deck. There is Sentry to help line it up, which is something. How are you so thin? 3 cards? Just 3 cards in your deck? Aka, no. Oh no, I'm very behind, aren't I? Oh, BM1. Please reveal an action card, pretty please. Nope, that's such a lot. Yeah. Well, I mean, I could have bought upgrade there, but passing up on returning 2 coppers seemed like a bad idea. Yeah. I'm a little surprised by the Herald gain there. I don't know what's in his hand, but I was expecting what was going to happen was something like turn the ambassador into a hostelry to get some horses, and then the horses become the target for your like your other upgrade or future upgrades. This could be hostelry as well. Aren't those cards mostly coppers? No, more heralds. Herald plus bureaucrat. Okay. I think I can leave both of those on top. I really, really need upgrade, but at the same time, passing up on returning a bunch of coppers is painful. I think I have to buy the upgrade, right? I think the answer is just it looks bad all around. Buy the upgrade, my deck's full of coppers. I won't have ghost towns coming in the following turn, and will have ghost towns in the deck. So the next turn it's going to be shot. If I return all the coppers, well, then I'm not hitting 5. Do I just return some number of the coppers? Like 3 of them, and then I guess. All right, by 3 I meant 2. I'm thinking. All right, I'll get an upgrade this turn, hopefully. I don't really want ghost towns in my deck too much long term either. They do not play well at all with the Herald, but they're just like a little shot in the arm of draw in the short term, and they're decent targets for upgrade later. I don't really want too many silvers. Speaking of Herald and Ghost Town not mixing, sad times. Yeah, I think we're entering resignable territory, right? He's got 5 Heralds and 2 upgrades and a Bureaucrat. Yeah. I think I'm just multiple turns behind at this point. Even some miraculous full dud, which I don't think is even possible, would not have saved me there. His deck is basically what I wanted my deck to look like. Right, the final game. Let's see what I got going on. So my immediate suspicion is I should click Cathedral. Let's just look at what else is going on before doing that, though. So village-wise, I hate Mastermind as the only village. It is an awkward and cumbersome deck to play, and much more annoying than any other throne room. But Mastermind is the only village, so that's going to be important. Goal is going to be to get a bunch of Masterminds in play, and then we get Way of the Chameleon, which is a big buff to cards that give plus coin, which we have a number of here. Is Nomad Camp can draw. Bishop can draw you 1 card. Ironworks could draw you a card, gaining a treasure, or gain you a coin, gaining a victory card. I don't think Chameleon affects Storyteller at all, just because of the way it's worded. There's like some very marginal change, which is that if you Chameleon Storyteller, you get to draw 1 card before playing the treasures, which could maybe draw you an additional treasure. So it's like a very minor buff. Jester can draw now. So it's a decent buff to a bunch of these cards, but no major synergy with any of them. But definitely something to look out for. Ironworks, you don't really want the 4s in large quantities. Maybe late in the game you could use Ironworks to feed bishops. But you can also use Bandit to feed bishops. The plus buy situation is a little bit lacking. Just Nomad Camp or Trade Route being terrible, so just Nomad Camp, which is itself not very good. I think the idea is to play with Storytellers, Bandit or 2 for golds, bunch of Masterminds, 1 or 2 Nomad Camps, and like a Jester, something like that. All right, now I'll click Cathedral. And what do I want on 4? Not sure. I think just silver, perhaps? This is why I find Mastermind supremely awkward as the only village is. You can't add a bunch of terminals, or you just get over-terminaled. But if you don't add a bunch of terminals, and you add Mastermind early, well, then it's likely to whiff, and then your whole deck just dies. But what do you put in your deck? I guess Nomad Camp? Storyteller. Haven is probably going to be pretty significant. You can set aside a Storyteller each turn to guarantee the Mastermind has a target. That's probably worth doing. Haka goes with the early Jester. I probably should have left that copper. Actually, it doesn't really matter what I leave with the copper on top. Hmm. So I want Mastermind. Fortunately, I cannot afford Mastermind. So I think just silver now and then Mastermind next turn. And it comes with a free Haven. All right, so now this is a weird spot to be in. So if I play the Mastermind now, which I probably should, well then I don't have a Mastermind to play the next turn, and then the turn after that goes badly. I could set aside the Mastermind, play the Nomad Camp, buy a Mastermind, then play Mastermind the following turn. I think the correct answer just has to be play the Mastermind and just accept that we're gonna have one more dud turn before things get kicking. That's honestly not a bad outcome for me. The additional coppers, like at some point I might even need to consider buying additional coppers to feed Cathedral. So if he wants to feed into me with Jester, I would not really complain about that. So I think what I do here is set aside the Storyteller, because otherwise Storyteller is going to undo all the money that Nomad Camp makes me. Don't trash Haven. Play Haven. And now what do you even buy? Nothing is at all helpful at the moment. I need a second Mastermind, but I could just as well buy a second Mastermind next turn, because I don't need that Mastermind until the following turn. I can't buy any, like I could buy more Storytellers. I don't need more Storytellers right now. Am I buying a gold? Like, what else even has value at this point? I think you just buy gold here. Buying gold with Bandit in the Kingdom just seems so supremely terrible. Right? But I can't buy Bandit because I'm over terminal because I don't have Mastermind in play. Ay, ay, ay. I'm thinking just Mastermind gold at the moment. Or maybe it's Storyteller gold by Mastermind the following turn. I don't know. Now let's do Mastermind gold. I was hoping to have a draw where I could Haven the Storyteller. That's not looking possible here. I got one more copper, one more silver down there. Two Masterminds, a Haven. What's the last card? Two Masterminds, Haven, copper, silver. Do I have another copper that I haven't accounted for? No? What is this? Oh, I do have an extra copper because he gave me one with Jester. That's what it is. So it's two copper, silver, Haven, Haven, Mastermind. Or Mastermind, Mastermind, Haven. I want to make sure I hit 5. So I think this is awkward. I have to draw with the Storyteller because it is imperative that I play Mastermind. Are you kidding? No way. The only way in which that particular play does not end up with me playing Mastermind is if I bottomed exactly these three cards, which is two Masterminds and a Haven. Well, I guess the bottom two could be Mastermind. The third from the bottom could be a Treasure. But oh, I hate Mastermind as not Mastermind in general. Mastermind in like a generally acceptable kingdom is innocuous. Mastermind is only village. It just leads to nightmares like this. Oh, this is so bad. This is incredibly bad. Mm-mm-mm. I wonder if there's a world where I could have played silver with Storyteller. I was worried that if I do that, I bottom deck the other silver and then don't hit five. I don't know. This is all hindsight thinking. That was just this is game losing outcome right here. I'm now yeah. This oh. It's just one more turn of being extremely over terminal. Means it's also one more turn that I can't buy productive cards from my deck because all the stuff I want to buy requires that I have villages, which I don't. Copper is still one of the best things for that Jester to hit. I think the ideal thing from my POV for his Jester to reveal will be silver. Like the worst thing for you for your Jester to reveal is whichever card you're most ambivalent between, like, do I want it or not? If it's a really bad card, you just clearly give it to them and junk their deck. If it's a really good card, take it. And I think silver is usually that card that's right at the level of like, sure, I'll take it, I guess. Or, you can have it. Which makes it not particularly valuable to be able to adjust it regardless of what you do with it. Copper is still on the side of like, even in a cathedral game, you're giving it to your opponent, but it is on the whole, I think, pretty innocuous attack here, at least. The thing I really don't want to happen is for the Jester to flip my fives. I think I'm pretty lost here, though. Like this is what the deck's supposed to look like. Is what he's got going on. One Mastermind per turn. This lets you play 4 terminals per turn, depending. Uh, I should have been there this turn, and then we'd be, I think, relatively even. But well, that last turn happened. Silver Haven. I guess I trash a silver. So now it's time to start adding this other stuff. Additional masterminds, Jester, Bandit. Uh, just a little late. I don't know what he buys here. Jester probably still better than Bandit. Additional mastermind makes sense too. It might be a little, actually, I don't know. Like The best chance I would have, I think, for having a shot at this game. No, no, yeah, I'm just lost. I was gonna say maybe he doesn't top deck his storyteller, because he needs to find that to play all of his actions. But the thing I was forgetting was the way the chameleon exists. So even if he finds Jester or Nomad Camp on top, he could just draw with those until he finds the storyteller and then still have an okay turn. This is another one where I think it is already exceedingly unlikely that I win. Please don't bottom deck Haven. All right, well, we bottom deck the Haven. That's not the end of the world, but I would like to play it set aside a copper. Now the Haven's a little bit imbalanced. Here I'm basically just playing catch up with no real plans exactly for how I would catch up. Maybe some real lucky Jester hits. Yeah, he would have just wasted a coin there. You're playing Haven into an empty discard pile. Obviously, chameleoning it is just one more coin than not. Maybe I try to go for an Ironworks pile out of some sort. Ironworks does a pretty good job of emptying itself. You play Ironworks, gain Ironworks, and go from there. I don't think I have any realistic chance of winning this if we keep going as we're going. Because we're doing the same thing with me being pretty behind at it. So maybe we try to get some weird pile out going. Not all too sure that that copper actually hurts him, but I actually am a little bit too high on coppers at the moment, I think. The number of times he's given me them. So I don't exactly want it either. I don't know if I'm going to get that Ironworks. I couldn't afford to not take a second Mastermind there, I don't think. I think it's pretty lost. By the time I would even be able to get the Ironworks, gain a few, I think he'll have scored a few provinces at that point, and then my deck can't really do anything about that. Like, I think the Ironworks thing is probably at least 3 turns off. I need to buy an Ironworks first. And then I don't think, for practical purposes, it's viable to pile it out from a single Ironworks. At least not with the composition of our decks. Because if you have one Ironworks, you would need like 10 cantrips or 9 cantrips, where you play Ironworks, play your cantrip, play Ironworks, play the cantrip, so forth. With a smaller number of stronger draw cards like Storyteller or Chameleon, Jester, Nomad Camp, you can do that a lot more efficiently playing them like 2 or 3 at a time. Like if you start with 2 Ironworks, you play 2, gain 2 more, play a Nomad Camp to draw them, play 2, gain 2 more, and so forth. And then you just need 5 moats instead of 10 cantrips. But that would either require buying 2 Ironworks up front, which is a pretty big investment, or spending an additional turn, turning that 1 Ironworks into a few Ironworks, and then then the few ironworks become 10 ironworks. Or maybe actually, there's no way to make it reliable at all, but if you buy one ironworks and you happen to draw it on top, you could mastermind that ironworks, gain 3 of them, and then that could lead to something. Gain something good. I think that's worth to take it. I believe I have the terminal space for it at least. I'll take a silver. And I think I also want that silver. I don't particularly need 3 storytellers. 2 is probably plenty. I just so happen to I had that turn where I had nothing better to buy. So if I take 2 ironworks in a province, is that realistically threatening a pile out? It's probably not quite enough to pile ironworks in Haven, but maybe. I mean, what else am I doing if I don't do that? I don't know. Let's see if we can sneak in a pile up somehow. I think most likely Hawkeye just takes a ton of points here, and then I don't know what my plan is in response to that. If he doubles, I have to be looking at emptying ironworks and estates, which I don't think is viable. I got to spend one of my mastermind plays on storyteller to guarantee that I draw. And then I triple the ironworks with the other one. I wouldn't have 18 to the end of all that. Yeah, so I think if he scores any reasonable number of points here, which I would expect him to, now my best bet has to be something like mastermind a mastermind to hopefully set up for the following turn, and then somehow figure out how to have a big next turn. But then by then he's probably taken 2 more provinces at that point, and then yeah, I don't know. I think that see Daisy. I think the real answer is he's got to misplay this somehow. Me to have a shot at winning. He's tripled a mastermind, which means he'll probably win next turn. He's got 5 mastermind plays coming in. Yeah. He'll double here. I can't beat double province this turn, and if I can't beat it this turn, 5 masterminds should be enough to put it away next turn. So that's no good. I think I just trust the storyteller here. Maybe the Haven. Yeah, I think trashing the Haven is best. I I basically have to hope beyond hope that somehow I get a win this turn. I don't know where that's coming from or how it's going to happen. Okay, so I think it has to involve piling out ironworks, right? And then maybe at the end of all that, if I bishop 2 masterminds, that's 6 points. That's a losing tie right there. That's getting close-ish. It's got to start with this. Any line that involves me winning is gonna begin here, I think. I guess I take the Jester. Got terminal space for it, right? I don't plan on playing these Masterminds. This does not. I know this doesn't go far enough, but you gotta try. Maybe something will happen. Your Mastermind. All right. So can we win here? I gain 2 bishops. I draw the bishops with the Storyteller and the Haven. I bishop 2 Masterminds. I gain 2 Havens. Is that a win? I think this might win by 1 point. I could be wrong about that. So I gain 2 Havens, I bishop 2 Masterminds, I buy Haven plus Estate. What a silly game. I don't like this kingdom. I don't like this kingdom. But a win's a win. Feel like we swindled victory from the draws of defeat there. But yeah, I mean sometimes the desperation play pays off, I guess. All right, well, that's the match. 4-2. Go USA.